The day the Titan-born fleet vanished, Earth was dying. Not slowly, not quietly, but in fire, storms, and continental fractures that tore the world apart. Oceans boiled at the edges. The sky glowed with a permanent red haze. Cities collapsed under magnetic storms that screamed through the atmosphere like cosmic blades. Humanity watched its cradle burn. There was only one plan left. The Titan-born fleet. It had taken 3 centuries to build. 12 colossal world ships, each the size of a small moon, surrounded by thousands of arc vessels, escort cruisers, biosphere rings, and star core reactors. Together, they were the largest human creation in history, a mobile civilization forged for one purpose: carry humanity beyond extinction. At the heart of this armada stood Titan-born Prime, a 2,000-kilometer-long megaship with a living metal hull and a newborn artificial star beating at its core. On its side, written in ancient Terran standard, were the last words of Earth's united government: "We leave to return." As the final volcanic chains detonated across Asia, Captain Alara Miles, the youngest commander ever chosen, gave the last order Earth would hear: begin the exile. All ships, ascend. Engines ignited. Entire oceans glowed blue from the light. One by one, the Titan-born ships rose through the dying atmosphere, trailing golden arcs across the sky. Billions watched from shattered streets, rooftops, and evacuation bunkers. Some whispered prayers. Some cursed. Most simply cried. The fleet passed the exosphere. Earth's gravitational hold weakened. Communications crackled as freezing winds swept the upper layers of atmosphere clean. And then the Titan-born fleet turned toward the galactic rim, the darkest, least explored direction in the sky. For the first year, transmissions flowed regularly. Scientific logs, status reports, even personal messages from families aboard the world ships. Humanity on Earth clung desperately to them. Then, abruptly, the updates changed. Detector arrays looking in the fleet's direction began to fail. Long-range telescopes fried. Every deep space sensor pointed toward that region returned only static, burning, deafening static. On day 412 of the exile, the final message arrived. No words, just a whisper of distorted audio. A single heartbeat-like pulse. Then an image, Titan-born Prime surrounded by an expanding sphere of distortion, space itself folding like fabric pulled into a singular point. After that, nothing. Within a decade, with Earth uninhabitable and humanity scattered to the stars in broken fragment colonies, the Titan-born fleet faded into legend. Some said they were consumed by a dark energy rift. Others believed they found a new galaxy. Many claimed they died in the void. Centuries passed. Then millennia. Empires rose. Humans became minorities on their own former worlds. Earth itself fell under alien stewardship. The Titan-born fleet, the greatest exodus in human history, became a myth told around campfires and in forgotten archives. But the promise engraved on Titan-born Prime remained, echoing through the ruins of Earth. When the sky broke open, 10,000 years after the Titan-born fleet vanished, the galaxy had moved on. Humanity had not died, but it had fractured. Scattered human-descendant populations lived under the rule of alien powers, some as tolerated minorities, others as labor forces, and some as nearly forgotten tribes hidden in the corners of forgotten star systems. The great empires of the Orion Arm saw humans as weak, disorganized, and irrelevant. The Archon Dominion, scaled and militaristic, ruled by force. The Vexery Consortium, insectoid and calculating, ruled by economy. The Tsora Ascendancy, psychic and ancient, ruled by knowledge. The Nirel Union, brilliant but cautious, survived by diplomacy. None of them remembered the Titan-born fleet. None of them feared humans. Then the anomalies began. First, deep space sensors collapsed across 6 empires simultaneously. Not physically destroyed, just overloaded by readings far beyond known physics. Then came the hyperlane distortions, navigational routes folded in impossible geometries, stranding fleets light years off course. Artificial black holes flickered like candle flames. Every government blamed every other. But the truth was something no one dared consider. Something enormous was entering the galaxy. On the 12,389th galactic cycle, the impossible happened. A tear of shimmering light opened on the galactic rim. Not a wormhole, not a warp breach, Something older and deeper, like reality itself had been unzipped. Space rippled outward in concentric waves. And then they emerged. The first ship was so massive it eclipsed a star. Its hull shimmered with liquid geometry. Its presence strangled gravity itself. It was Titan-born Prime, not destroyed, not decayed, evolved. Behind it unfolded the rest of the Titan-born fleet, not in formation, but in a synchronized expansion, as though the ships themselves were alive. Their energy signatures were unreadable. Their propulsion systems defied the laws that governed the galaxy. Where most fleets bent space, the Titan-born ships rewrote it. Every empire panicked. The Archon Dominion scrambled 30,000 warships to intercept what they assumed was an invading armada. The Vexari locked down their trade spheres. The Tsaurus Collective opened their psychic gateways, only to recoil in terror when they sensed the minds aboard the Titan-born ships. These were humans, yes, but not baseline humans, not colonials, not hybrids. These were evolved humans, shaped by 10,000 years beyond the galactic edge, beyond known cosmology. Their neural patterns were laid, their biology intertwined with quantum-enhanced machinery, their ships extensions of their collective will. When the Archon fleet surrounded Titan-born Prime, their warlord, High Marshal Carix, issued a single ultimatum: surrender your vessels or be annihilated. Titan-born Prime did not even raise shields. Carix fired. A beam capable of destroying moons struck Titan-born Prime head-on and dissolved into a silent ripple, absorbed as though it had never existed. The Titan-born fleet broadcast one sentence in ancient Terran standard: "We do not seek war, but we will not be threatened." Then every Archon ship, every dreadnought, every cruiser, every fighter, shut down. Not damaged, not hacked, simply powered off. The galaxy realized the unthinkable. The Council of Helion Prime. Panic swept across the Orion Arm. The Archon Dominion's war fleet, once feared across 3 spiral sectors, now drifted powerless and silent. The Vexari trade routes collapsed as their quantum networks failed to predict the Titan-born presence. Tsaurus reported an intelligence that exists in multiple layers of reality. Even the Nirel Union, the calmest among the great powers, declared a state of universal emergency. There was only one choice left: call an emergency galactic council. The meeting took place on Helion Prime, a neutral artificial moon known for being the only place where all empires could gather without slaughter. For the first time in recorded history, every major civilization sent their highest representatives. Last to arrive were the Scions of Sol, the fragmented human-descendant groups who still clung to old Terran traditions. Poor, politically weak, often ignored, they were given seats near the back of the chamber. But today, their presence mattered more than anyone expected. The lights dimmed, the air chilled, a sound like a slow heartbeat echoed through the chamber walls. The Titan-born delegation entered. They did not walk, they moved with a fluid, perfect balance, their armor shifting like molten starlight. Their eyes carried a depth that made even the Tsaurus psychic chorus flinch. These were humans, but not the frail, scattered humans a galaxy knew. At their lead stood High Navigator Erin Solari, chosen speaker of the Titan-born. She bowed respectfully, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. "We return to fulfill our promise," Erin began, her voice calm yet resonant. 10,000 years ago, we fled to preserve the human species. We return now to reclaim our home, Sol, and our people. The Archon representative slammed his fist into the table. Sol is Dominion territory. Erin raised a hand. The Archon froze, instantly, involuntarily. Not harmed, simply locked, as if time had skipped around him. Gasps filled the chamber. When she lowered her hand, the Archon stumbled back, pale and shaking. A Tsora elder whispered through the psychic network, trembling. "What have you become?" Erin's face softened, touched by something like sorrow. "We became what the void required. Beyond the galactic rim, there are forces older than your histories. We encountered one. We survived it. And in surviving, we changed." The Nirel technocrat leaned forward gently. "Then why return now?" Erin gestured toward the Scions of Sol. The cameras in the chamber focus on them. Ordinary humans in simple robes, carrying fragile echoes of ancient Earth culture. "Because they are still here," Erin said. our children, our kin. For 10,000 years they endured servitude, exile, and erasure. We came back for them. The Scion's leader, an elderly man named Rienhale, rose with shaking hands. We thought you were legends. Legends do not return, Aaron replied. Family does. Silence followed, heavy, expectant. Then the lights flickered. The holographic display at the center of the chamber activated. A monstrous shape filled the projection, dark, shifting, impossibly vast. This, Aaron said, is what followed us. A being from the void, a devourer of systems. It is awake, and it is coming. Fear rippled through every species. You may join us, Aaron said softly, or fall alone. For the first time in the galaxy's long, brutal history, the empires understood. Humanity had not returned as conquerors. They had returned as the only shield against something far worse. The world that remembers. The world fell silent. For the first time in 10,000 years, the skies above Earth were filled with human warships, massive, ancient, and impossibly advanced, standing guard like steel titans awakened from myth. The people of Earth gathered in open plazas, on rooftops, in deserts, on snowy mountain peaks, and before every glowing screen to witness the impossible, humanity's forgotten children returning home. Admiral Saren stood on the bridge of Aurora Ascendant, watching the blue planet rotate slowly beneath them. The ship's sensors filled her display with life signs, billions of humans, genetically distinct from the original settlers, and yet unmistakably her people. 10,000 years, she whispered, and Earth endured. Tavian approached the side. Do we tell them everything? About the frontos? The wars? The empire we built? She exhaled. We tell them the truth. They deserve that much. A signal blossomed across the command deck. Earth was calling. The transmission was filled with nervous excitement. Scholars, leaders, scientists, military officers, all trying to confirm whether the fleet was real. Saren activated the channel. Her voice carried the weight of centuries. This is Admiral Saren Vallis of the Aurora Fleet. We are humans, born from Earth's seed. We have returned. The world erupted in shocked celebration. The first contact delegation boarded shuttles and descended toward Geneva, the capital of the Earth Federation. As Saren stepped onto the landing pad, thousands of people watched in breathless silence, broadcasting every moment. She expected fear. Instead, the crowd parted with reverence, like welcoming a family long thought dead. The Earth President, a tall woman with silver-threaded hair, stepped forward. Admiral Saren, welcome home. Saren bowed her head. Thank you. We feared Earth had been lost to time. The President smiled gently. It was Earth who feared you were lost. For hours, the two delegations exchanged stories. Earth scientists laid out their modest interplanetary technology, fusion drives, orbital cities, quantum computation. Saren's officers shared maps of the 70,000 worlds humanity had settled beyond the galactic rim. Every sentence reshaped human history. But peace would not last. A coded alert reached Saren's personal communicator. A Vossian war beacon had activated outside the system. The enemy had traced them. Saren stood abruptly. Madam President, Earth must prepare. The Vossian Dominion will come. They see humanity as a threat. Earth is not ready for war, the President admitted. We are barely ready for peace. Saren looked out the window at the sky, where her fleet glowed like a constellation of metal suns. Then we will defend you. That is why we came back. Tavian stepped beside her. Aurora Fleet stands with Earth. The President breathed slowly, absorbing the meaning behind their words. Humanity, divided by time, reunited by fate, would face the galaxy together. A message echoed across every screen on Earth, carried by Saren's voice. Asterisk, asterisk, we are one people, one species, one origin. Humanity does not bow. Humanity returns to asterisk. The forgotten fleet raised its shields. Earth's armies mobilized. Across the void, an alien empire prepared to erase the species it feared most. But the humans of Earth stood tall, and the humans of the outer realms stood with them. For the first time in 10,000 years, humanity was whole, and the galaxy would never be the same again.